If you're ambitious and you're in your 20s, please watch this. I'm going to give you the best advice I wish I was given when I was in my 20s. I now record this at 35 as of July 2025. Now, the reality is you don't know what you don't know. This has probably been the biggest saying of my entire life that has led me to the success I have. And the biggest reason you do not have the success you want right now is you are fucking arrogant. And I see this over and over and over again, in particular in young men. You think you know everything. And I was like you. When I was younger, I felt like that. And the older I have gotten, the more I realize I know fucking nothing. And I say this as someone who lives in the Palm in Dubai, drives a supercar, and probably has all the things you want. I still feel like I know nothing. And I have become a student of the game of constantly learning. Yet you think you know everything. And I see it in particular with our business, with fitness trainers I work with. They make 10K a month, 20K a month. They think they know they're Billy Big shit and they know everything. The reality is that's the reason why your business is stuck and you've been stuck for 3-4 years. Because you think you know everything. You're dipping your toe in the water rather than jumping in with both feet. Throughout my entire career, I've just used one thing. Blunt force violence of as much brute force, whether it's in content or whether it's in ads or whether it's with sales. Like you go all in and max out rather than trying to hold back. Now, most people who aren't successful, the reason you aren't successful is because you dip your toe in the water. You want to try something. But if you don't have a plan B, plan A will always work. But you're probably watching this and you have plan B, plan C, plan D. And like, oh, this might work. It's like, dude, if you go all in, it will work. You have no other choice. And I think that's where you have to commit to the plan. And it's that analogy from Tony Robbins in terms of like burning the boats. If you set yourself up for success and you have no other option than success, you will make it work. If you are giving yourself easy outs all the time, you will quit. And the reality is the most important thing you need to do in your entire life, whether it's in your fitness or whether it's in your business, is this simple thing. It's be incredibly consistent. You turn up, fucking rain, sun or shine, like however you feel, it's happening anyway. The reality with most people, I don't really feel like working today. I don't really feel like going to the gym today. And that's why you will lose, because other people who are sadistic like me will just turn up anyway. And it's like that saying from Layla Hormozi, I actually quite like, is like, fuck your mood, follow the plan. The reality is you have to do it anyway, because no one is coming to save you. And there's a great saying for you, particularly if you're in your 20s, like a boy becomes a man when he realizes no one's coming to save you. Like you can have the best business advice in the world, best guidance in the world, but you have to do the work. And you have to find the people to teach you. You have to find the people to advise you. You have to be willing to take the risk. You have to be willing to spend the money. You have to be willing to travel all over the world to meet these people. Yet you want to stay exactly where you are, take no risk, yet want the success that the bold are willing to take. And if you take bold, big action, you get bold, big outcomes. And that's why if you play small, you get small results. You play big, you get big results. And it's kind of picking what you want. You play not to lose, you're playing to win. And you have to kind of go on offense in life more and more with that. With the consistency thing, the other thing is being disciplined. Now, what's the most important thing you actually need to be disciplined that most people aren't? Talking about fitness is actually like food and training, but if we talk about it from a business perspective, is you actually financial discipline. Most people are financially fucking retarded, and I see this again if I talk about people in the fitness industry sometimes, or even other industries. They spend way more than they should do on stupid things like flying business class. They can flex their Instagram stories, or renting supercars, or doing other stupid stuff. The reality is nobody cares. People who are more successful than you don't care. And I say this as someone who now has pretty much everything he wants. When you have everything you want, you don't feel any different. To the point you realize it doesn't actually matter. And that's why the people who are steps ahead of you don't care. Anyone who's ahead of you will have a huge amount of respect for you, not because of what you have, but because of who you are and what you do. So how quickly you implement, how quickly you execute, what questions do you ask, how attentive are you, how helpful are you, how outside the box are you in terms of your thinking. And these are really the things that are going to make you stand out from anything else. Now, a big thing I'd say to anyone in their 20s, you are going to get, and you want to be successful, you are going to get a lot of flack and you get a lot of haters. And I heard Grant Cardone talk about some podcast the other day and it really kind of resonated. He's like, you literally just want people to love you or hate you. Probably a great example of this is Donald Trump. People absolutely hate him, or people are absolutely like fanatical about him. There's very few people who are like, I don't really have an opinion. And that's ultimately kind of what you want, because even if you're going to have a business that's fueled on social media, hate and people trolling on you is going to drive the algorithm to push more people to you. And the reality is you don't want everyone to like you. I don't want everyone to necessarily like me, because I'm quite direct. I'm quite in your face in terms of what I believe, because I have your best interests at heart. But some people aren't ready for that type of message yet, because you haven't maybe done the personal development to kind of understand that. But ultimately, you have to be willing to put yourself out on a ledge, and also understand that with the more success you have, the more shots people are going to try and take at you. which then means you have to build up the most important skills. And I call these the 3 R's. Number 1 is resilience. You have to have the resilience to keep going when anything's not working or when you get shit. Number 2 is being relentless. Having a relentless mindset of constantly turning up, constantly testing new things, constantly doing new things. And 3 is resourcefulness. We do not live in a world of lack of resources. We live in a world of a lack of resourcefulness. And I say this as someone who's on the street with minimum house of $10 million, because there is no lack of money in the world. There's a lack of your ability to go and find people with money in the world. And that's where you kind of need to be creative in terms of the way you work within your life. And I think too many people are too small-minded with that, and they let fear hold them back because they're afraid of failing. But what you actually have to understand is that when you fail, something happens. You learn. And whenever you take a shot at something, you either win or you learn. Like, you never lose, you win or you learn. I've done so many things that have gone wrong in my career where I have learned a huge amount from them. I remember I hired a tech team in January 2022 that cost me $80,000 that I then replaced 3 months later with a VA from the Philippines who we paid $5 an hour. Yes, that hurt. I replaced an $80,000 tech team with a $5 an hour VA from the Philippines. Now, the reality is you don't know what you don't know, and it was an expensive lesson. But you can learn from every experience in life. And that's why probably the biggest lie if you're in your 20s right now is you don't understand the value of life experience. Seek out the people who have done the things you want to do, and it will make it easier for you. And understand the most powerful thing in the world, which is compound interest. And the compounding effect of money, time, skills is the most powerful thing you need. So if you actually take the money that you make, and instead of buying stupid watches and first-class flights or whatever else you want to show off, and you invest it in yourself to learn things, and then you invest in your business, you will make way more money and your business will scale way faster. And if you're in your 20s, you also have to understand the other compounding effect you have behind you, which is you. You, your personal brand, who you are, who knows you, your reputation, your authority. The earlier you start building this, the easier it gets. Because if you want to build a business, do you know what you need? Team members. Who do team members want to work for? Big brands, people with big reputations, famous people. The more you put yourself out there, the more these people come to you naturally. The bigger your network is, the easier it is to hire people. The easier it is to build your audience. So you need to rewire your thinking and start realizing that this is a people game. If you want to make a business that is just a job and you want to make 5, 10K a month, like, cool. If you want to actually have a business is a team sport. And to have the best team and to win in the transfer window, you need to have a reputation where people want to come to you, and you also have a network where you can go and find the best talent in the world. Like, in our business, we don't have a client acquisition problem. We have a team recruitment problem that I want to find better and better people all the time. And when you start to rewire your thinking like that, it then becomes more easy to be successful, because you need to understand this very, very interesting principle that I'm kind of fascinated with at the moment, which is power over force. I mentioned earlier in this video how I've always done brute force violence to get the things I wanted in life. That will take you to a certain point. But if you want to keep going to the next levels up upon that, you have to understand, you have to start using power, which is leverage of teams, systems, AI, authority, network, all these types of things, which if you actually have the right knowledge, you can actually implement into life, which then also gives you the most important thing, which is time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom, to remove the golden handcuffs and help you scale your business to get exactly what you want, when you want, with who you want. Because most people create a life for themselves, which is a prison. If you can have a life where you are actually just playing the game of business for fun, and you would do it regardless of the money, you will win. The people who are just chasing success purely for money will not be successful. Why? Because they're doing it for the wrong reasons. And when it gets hard, they will drop off. And this is the best piece of advice you need to understand. You need to forget about the results. You need to focus on the process and be consistent in what you do every single day. And when you turn up every single day, you give value, you learn, you improve your skill set, it is impossible you will not become successful if you keep having that attitude. The reality is, most people want to post one Instagram post and make 10K the next day. It doesn't work like that. You have to keep turning up, and then the compound effect will start playing for you. It's that force multiplier. Whether it's the content, whether it's your skills, whether it's your team, it gets easier and easier and easier. And if you're in your 20s right now and you're not in the position you want to be in, understand that it is the hardest at the beginning because you have the least amount of skills, the least amount of resources, and probably the weakest mindset. And the mindset is the hardest thing to try and get nailed down, which is why if you actually have someone mentor you or guide you or surround yourself in the right environment, it gets easier. because business is kind of like a war of attrition of who can get kicked in the dick the most and keep going. And if you get to the point where you don't care and you just keep turning up, you will ultimately end up becoming very, very successful. Why? Because most people will drop off and they can't last the endurance race. Business and life is a sprint and a marathon at the same time. It's a long way, but you're trying to go as fast as possible. If you took value from the video, smash the like button, subscribe, drop any comments below. See you next video soon.